My dear ghouls and ghoulettes, it's me, your good old Papa Nihil. We are going to analyze Meliora, Ghost's third album and probably the most loved one. I just don't understand what's the fascination with this album anyway. I'm joking. It's a masterpiece. Enough blah blah. Let's dive in. Spirit, a chilling prologue that sets the stage for Meliora's narrative. This haunting song paints a stark picture of a society devoid of a deity, where spirituality has been cast aside. Listen closely to the lyrics, throw yourself into the vessel of possibilities. 7 seals, devilish creatures profess the end of time, ... and you'll hear a dire warning. It cautions against the dangers of forsaking spiritual values and embracing selfishness. Persist in this dark path. Continue serving only your own interests, and it will ultimately lead to your downfall. From the pinnacle to the pit marks the true beginning of our story. Unlike Infestissumam, which focused on the presence of the Antichrist, Meliora explores not Satan's presence, but his influence. It delves into how knowledge and secularism can lead people away from their spirituality. This track retells the tale of Lucifer's banishment into hell, where he wears his independence like a crown, ascending to become the king of the underworld. From his dark throne, he begins to exert his influence over humanity, gradually robbing them of their spiritual essence. Have you ever wondered, what does Cruciger Globus mean? It's the ball with a cross on top which kings hold in their hand. It's to remind them that their power over the world is given by God. Series, a track that can be interpreted in multiple ways. On the surface, it might seem like a dark love song, or the tale of a sinister stalker. However, Ghost has clarified that it's a critique of religion, specifically how the Catholic Church indoctrinates its followers. The song depicts an intimate conversation between a cult leader and a new disciple, representing Satan's method of luring individuals into his influence and away from a godly society. As part of our story, Sirius acts as a form of indoctrination. Satan begins to entice people, seeing through their personal fears and viewing their deplorable actions not as sins but as their true nature. The lyrics, "I can hear the thunder that's breaking in your heart, I can see through the scars inside you," highlights Satan's ability to see beyond surface fears, successfully drawing people away from God and deeper into his grasp. Spoksonat, a mesmerizing instrumental that, through the seductive play of the harp, captures the essence of transformation. As Satan successfully draws more people under his influence, society begins to change. This piece reflects that shift, illustrating a world that is rapidly industrializing and modernizing, all under the shadow of newfound secularism. The haunting melody serves as the soundtrack to a society in transition, moving further away from its spiritual roots. It sounds like spooky naut, like astronaut, but I later found out it means spooky sonata. This track seamlessly ties into the themes of the previous song. Here, people continue to sing praises to Satan, recognizing his instrumental role in their society. He is seen as the provider of knowledge, the guide who illuminates their path, the shining in the light, without whom I cannot see. The church condemns sexuality, but it is the force that made us all be, the disobedience that holds us together. The song's final words are particularly telling. "And we are falling over the precipice." With these words, society acknowledges that it has crossed the point of no return. There is no escape as they abandon their godliness in favor of what the album's title, Meliora, signifies: a pursuit of something better. Mummy Dust, a powerful critique on greed and money and their corrupting influence on society. At this point in our story, society's departure from godliness and embrace of secularism has deeply taken root. The physical transformation begins, manifesting in what you see on the cover of Meliora: towering skyscrapers, thick smog, airships, and a monument to their new savior, Papa. These are all constructed as masses of followers congregate in a black mass. Satan revels in this, with his worshippers blindly believing his words, which he knows to be moral falsehoods. "In God you trust, my mummy dust." This track underscores the complete transformation of society, now driven by greed and materialism under Satan's influence. Long time ago, people would literally dig up mummies, grind them into a powder, and used them as medicine or pigment for paints. It was a huge money-making practice and basically eradicated a lot of mummy remains that Egypt could have preserved. Majesty, while he offers a romantic hymnal praise of Satan, Majesty takes this adoration to a fanatical extreme. With their new society built, people's worship of Satan becomes fervent, iconoclastic, and fundamentalist. The lyrics capture this zeal. He's sitting sacred and profound in midst of sinners, looking up to kiss his crown, kneeling down before his clout. Satan has achieved what he set out to do, creating a society that worships him with unwavering devotion. However, as his followers continue their fervent praise, Satan begins to grow bored with humanity, even as they remain on their knees, wholly devoted to him. You know how when you are overstimulated, the stimulus starts losing power in time, and you need more. Devil Church, this instrumental track, continues the theme of society's blind worship of Satan. It sonically embodies what Ghost envisions a devil church would sound like. The haunting melodies and eerie organ music pull listeners into a sinister atmosphere of devotion. However, the organ's trailing off at the end signals a shift, hinting that something is very wrong on the horizon. This piece foreshadows impending doom, suggesting that the consequences of their blind faith are about to unfold. Absolution, this track marks a pivotal moment as dissent begins to emerge within the satanic society. It depicts a back and forth between Satan and the few who still believe in God, those who reject the false narrative imposed upon their world. All the things that you desire, you will find them in the fire, Satan argues, tempting them to remain on his path. Meanwhile, those who recognize the horror of their worship cry out for absolution, seeking forgiveness from God for the devastation they've wrought upon themselves. This song captures the inner turmoil and rising conflict as society begins to question its dark allegiance. Deus in absentia, the most haunting revelation of all. The great society that has been built under Satan's influence is starting to decay. Whether this decay is physical or moral is unclear, but the people are shocked by how far they've fallen. They try to go back to the light. They desperately plead for help from God, the Creator they willingly abandoned, but there is no answer. They realize how so goddamn frail their beliefs are, recognizing how easily they were manipulated by the temptation of a better society. As Satan abandons them, the people cry out, Deus, Deus, but the silence is deafening. They face the harrowing conclusion that either God has truly abandoned them for rejecting his teachings so adamantly, or Satan never wanted to help, and they were merely pawns of dogmas and desires all along. In this chilling climax, the cracks in their beloved society continue to grow, all within a haunting spiritual silence. Zenith, our epilogue. The fate of this once great society remains unclear, but there are survivors. They have conquered the magic, deciphered the clockwork of religion, realizing there may be no God or Satan at all. Yet, they cling to the light of hope and faith in each other, believing in a better future. Meanwhile, others still cling to their delusions of worship, whether of God or Satan. They are urged to come unleashed from the shackles of false hope and dogma, to join together and move forward towards a brighter tomorrow. Together, they strive to live secula seculorum forever and ever. For from the ashes of disaster, the roses of success will bloom. Thank you, dear ghouls and ghoulettes. Don't forget to subscribe for more Ghost in your life.